I'll tell you this, being I'm not 62, but our business has been around 62 years. Our first simulator, in Sioux Falls here, we did in the late 1980s.
Mhm.
It was $100,000 and it was terrible. Like, you would hit on it and, like, you would think you're slicing it and the ball would go down and to the left, right? Like, it was just the technology was terrible. So you fast forward 45 years, the
Mhm.
pricing has come way down, and we've done full simulators for $6,500, not 100,000 anymore.
Mhm.
And the tech is so good. So there's a software company called GS Pro, and they call it open API. So anybody, if you and I could design courses, we could upload them to the system,
Cool.
and people rank them. And if they're good enough, they get on there and they stay on there.
Mm.
And what that means is you have thousands of courses available, all the courses you want. Like, you and I could go to my house right now and play Augusta National, the most prestigious private course in the world, and we can play an exact replica in my garage. Like, how cool is
Wow.
that? This is the golden age for
Mhm.
golf. Not only that, but they have, they call them fantasy courses. So, like, my son watched Star Wars, the other week, and
Uh-huh.
he found a course called, I think it was like The Sanctuary, and I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but it was The Sanctuary something, and you're playing on one of the Star Wars planets. So while
Oh,
you're
cool.
teeing off, you got the Millennium Falcon or whatever's zooming by the tee
Yeah.
box. Like, how much fun is it to play golf today in a simulator?
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's like a video game, but only way, way better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a Halloween one we played where there's, like, zombies walking around in the fairway, and it's very
Oh.
ominous and scary.
Uh-huh.
But it's an absolute riot. And somebody asked me the question the other day because the rounds of virtual golf have gone so high. They're eclipsing now actual rounds of golf, which are also high. And they said, "Hey, is this a risk to golf? Are you going to have more people just wanting to play virtual golf?" And I believe one feeds the other. My
Mhm.
kids, which are 12, 8, and 4, are much more interested in playing on a real golf course now because they've had so much fun learning
Mhm.
at our house playing Halloween golf.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to help grow the game.
Well, and especially in the Midwest, we live where it's winter-ish, 6 to 8 months out of the year, and
Yeah.
so having the opportunity to continue your golf game in those winter months where you just can't be outside.
Yeah, and you can use it for other things. You can use it as kind of an in-home theater. We've hooked up, it's just an HDMI that goes into your projector. So we've
Mm.
hooked the Nintendo Switch into that, and the
Mhm.
kids have played Mario Kart, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then there was other add-ons. We've worked with one home builder um, who does a lot of apartment complexes,
Mhm.
and they wanted hunting to be a part of it. And so we have a hunting add-on. So if
Mm.
the folks in their building wanna golf, they can golf. If they wanna go shoot zombies or ducks or pheasants, we have that option for them as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Very versatile.
yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
plenty of things to think about, but it's a way from a commercial standpoint to differentiate yourself. Even, a lot of employers we've worked with, and they said, "Hey, we just," every employer is always thinking, "How do I find ways to retain people?" A lot of them are
Yep.
calling them back into the office, right? No
Mhm.
more work from home, or certainly not full time. How do I incent them to come in? So we've put them in a lot of offices so that they can have their Friday afternoon happy hour, around the golf simulator or hunting or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's a really great way to incentivize those employees to come back and like, "Hey, it is a great place to work."
Yeah. It's like kind of part of their benefits package. And they say, "Hey, you want to come in on the weekend with your friends and use it?" That's what it's here for. It's here for us all to enjoy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. So, on average, how many golf simulators do you put in a year?
Last year we averaged, what did we average? About 2 a week. So we have a southern install team, a northern install team, and then one based here in Sioux Falls, and we'll travel within 100 miles of any of our brick and mortar stores. So our biggest challenge is just the miles
Mhm.
between, we'll drive out to Rapid City and do one. So, if they were all in one place, we could probably do one a day, but we can't. So we averaged about 2 a week. So we did, I don't know, whatever's a little over 100
Okay.
probably last year. We probably install, I don't know, we maybe install about half of what we sell. We have an option. Obviously, we can go through the whole consultation process, and if an individual wants to install themselves, that's totally fine. They still have access to our installers if they
Mm.
hit a
The
trouble
snag in
point.
the
Yep.
setup. Yeah.
And we can either come out at some hourly rate or they can just call and we'll kind of troubleshoot with them in that moment.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
So residential, new construction versus remodel. Is there a percentage one way to the other, or it's pretty even?
Um, it's probably more people putting into their current homes. I mean, we're fortunate in Sioux Falls community that continues to grow and is building quite a
Mhm.
bit, and so we certainly do plenty of those. But I think there's a lot of people. COVID was a terrible thing, but for golf, it turned out to be a wonderful thing for a couple of reasons. They said stay home, or if you're going to be home, go do something outside where you're socially distanced and safe. So
Mhm.
golf was one of those things. And then you were working from home a lot more, and so people started to really look at their home space differently and say,
For sure.
"Okay, if I'm not just here, I leave at 7 a.m., I come back at 6 p.m. I'm now here all day. I need to find ways to make my house more engaging." And so simulators really started taking off back in 2020, and that's when we really got into the sale and installation of it. So, that's probably more of what we do, is we could do either, but more into current homes. I'll say the other big thing, and we saw this at the Sioux Falls Home Show, a lot of people go, "Boy, I don't think I have space." And we always say, "Well, do you have a garage?" And if they do, we have this really cool option. It's called a G track, where just like your garage door goes up and down on
Mhm.
that track, well, we can actually hook a simulator screen up to that same track where you push a button and it goes up and down. So when you're not playing it, it's as easy as pushing a button and your simulator folds up and it's
Nice. Out of the
away.
way. So you can still park in your garage, but you
Yep.
can
Fully
golf
use
in your
that
garage.
space. Yep. So there's very few people that don't, but that's the biggest barrier, right? They say, I don't have the space. And
Yeah.
usually we can find a way to make it work very effectively for them.
Nice. That seems like a perfect situation because a lot of existing homes don't have a spare bedroom or the
Exactly.
right clearance from the basement.
Yeah.
And, you're not going to take out concrete in the basement to, pour it so it's deeper or whatever. And
Yeah.
so having that option to just go right into the garage,
Yeah.
that is genius.
That's a good one. We're doing a really fun one right now. It's for Make-A-Wish up in North Dakota.
Mhm.
And there's a child up there. His wish was to have a golf simulator. So enter Austads. We're happy to
Yeah.
participate and help with that. But what we're doing is his family didn't have space. I don't think they had a garage either. And so we partnered with a company that's building kind of a, what do they call it? For women, they call it the she shed. I can't remember what they call it
Oh,
for men
yeah.
or for boys. But so they're
The
building,
man cave-ish
yeah,
thing.
kinda like
Uh-huh.
that, but it's 13 feet wide, and I think it's, like, 20 feet, deep,
Uh-huh.
and, it's basically just a golf heaven, a golf simulator
Oh,
room.
awesome.
So, that one gets installed this spring, but that was a really cool project we're excited to be a part of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That little boy is gonna be in that building.
I hope he's on tour someday, that's a fun one.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so what goals do you have for this year?
We're very bullish. I don't know if you're familiar with TGL. So this is
Mm.
the new Tiger Woods Rory McIlroy Golf League, and it's played on a golf simulator every single week. And so this whole
Oh.
idea of virtual golf is becoming very mainstream, and it's feeding the demand
Mhm.
for these things. And so, our goal was we doubled the business last year, and our goal is to double it again this year, and we just see an immense need um, because people are demanding these products. And what we're really seeing and where we can fill the void is we get a lot of people that call and say, "Hey, I bought this and I'm incredibly frustrated because it doesn't fit in the space, or I have the wrong gaming computer, or the aspect ratio on the projector I bought is wrong." And they just bought it on a cheap website online.
Mhm.
And that's where we can fill the need because our prices are as low or lower than anybody else. Certainly our installation prices are, but you get the consulting piece for no cost.
Mhm.
So when you're buying, if whether it's 6,000 or it's $30,000 in your simulator, you want to make the right choice,
Right,
right?
for
It's not
sure.
a small investment, even if it's on that more value oriented end.
Mhm.
And so that's where we're trying to get the word out because we hate hearing those stories like, "Hey, I just spent 20 grand and nothing works and it doesn't even fit in the space I wanted."
Yeah, painful to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of it's tricky too. If you get online, you'll see, hey, this cage is 9 foot high, 12 feet wide. That's That's how high the screen is. So if your ceiling is 9 foot high, the finished dimensions of that cage are typically 9 feet, 2 or 3 inches. It's not going to
Sure,
fit.
so you have to have the outer edge of.
Yep. Yep. So we have all those dimensions and we will obviously make sure it's going to fit in whatever space you want it in. But that's the biggest complaint we hear when somebody just buys it from some national online
XYZ.
retailer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Um, what's the biggest misunderstanding about golf?
About the sport of golf,
Yes.
I think it's the perception that it is snooty and meant only for the few and sort of still that, you talked about in the 60s how it was perceived as this rich man's game.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of people still have that perception, and I understand it. If you watch the PGA Tour and half the rules, I've been playing golf my entire life, and I don't understand some of the rules, and it can feel at times snobbish.
Mhm.
Uh, but if you look at what's happened in the last 10 years in the game, I think that is rapidly evolving and changing. And some of that started with Tiger in the early 2000s. But if you look at the fashion now, so everything actually I'm wearing now, not that I am a beacon of fashion, but this is our biggest brand that is Travis Matthew shirt, Travis Matthew pants. This probably does not look to your viewers like traditional golf apparel.
Right. Mhm.
Same with these are golf shoes, spikeless golf shoes. You have
Pretty
guys
sporty.
sporty, yeah.
Yeah.
You have guys wearing hoodies on the course now. Live Golf, they play music during the whole round, and they're wearing shorts. Um, and so I think the game is much more inclusive now than it
Mhm.
used to be, and there's some cool brands out there that, in fact, the fastest growing brands are folks that started podcasts like yours. So like we just picked up Good Apparel.
Hmm.
Good is a group of young friends that would just videotape themselves or film themselves playing golf and talking. And then they grew this massive following, and
Mhm.
now they have an apparel line that is taking off. And so I think that would be the biggest misconception about this sport for those who aren't following it real close is that it's still kind of stuffy,
Mhm.
and it feels anything but stuffy to me now. It's a pretty wide tent, and I think that's why the game has grown as much as it has the last certainly since COVID, but really the last 10 years.
Yeah. Cool. I think I would agree. It's been fun to see. I'm not super into golf, but it's been fun to see sort of that transition where um even locally there's golf courses that have for beginners like me where it's okay if
Yeah.
you don't hit the ball. It's okay and it's just the companionship of going out and doing the sport and being outside and
Yeah.
enjoying it.
And there's so many fun products now. Another one that I've enjoyed is called the Sun Mountain Fin Scooter. So, when you go play golf, like my kids, the favorite thing, they love to play golf, but it's mostly because they like to drive the golf cart.
Of
Well,
course.
we sell a lot of Sun Mountain golf bags, and they developed this product called the Fin Scooter, which is essentially a little golf motorcycle where your bag
Mm.
sits on top of it, and then you
Uh-huh.
you get on the Fin Scooter and you ride it.
Nice.
And so we have one of these, and that now that they ride it around the neighborhood, they take it when we play golf. But like again, I imagine my grandpa back in the early '60s, and being like, "Hey, grandpa, someday when I'm running the company, people are going to be riding around golf courses on motorcycles and having a blast doing it." And he'd probably smile and say, "Yeah, Ryan, you're on something." But it's just that's how much has changed in the last 60 years.